Hello everyone. Now this is going to be a bit of a different video than what we normally do. And that's because whereas normally when I bring someone on this channel, I'm introducing them to a song they've never heard before, today it's the other way around. My dad showed me a song from Petra called Strong Convictions, which I've never heard before. But before we get into the video, you may notice my background looks very different from what I normally use. And that's because around 2 weeks ago, I redid my room entirely, flooring, painting, everything. And then I got the flu immediately after, and so I haven't been able to get my normal setup back yet. But this video with my dad was filmed before that, so luckily I still have something to post. And there's some very interesting discussion here, and this is a really interesting song to check out, so I think you guys will enjoy this. And so without any further ado, let's go.
This time we're going to be reacting to a song you've actually picked out. I don't know anything about this, really.
It was the first CD I ever owned. And it was when CDs had just come out, and I got a CD player for Christmas. And it was played a single CD. And it was over $300. And so this was the music that I grew up listening to.
Like that drum beat there.
It sounds like an acoustic guitar.
Yeah, I know, right? That's a very, like, hard rock metal style vocals there, actually.
Pause for a second. Did you hear what I just said?
Not quite. I was trying to pick it out.
Secular and sacred blur without even raising a flag. And look at the beginning. Western world where the strong survive and the meek will inherit the dregs. Living now in the twilight time, will the world hear the answer it begs? And I like that it says secular and sacred blur. And and I think that that was in the 90s they were recognizing.
Is it the tale of the dog that will wag? With some among us, weak at the knees.
There you have that line, yeah. Bit of a pop-like chorus, almost like synth, maybe? I don't know.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. That is a good line. Okay, that is true. Yeah, definitely.
No faith in the absolute, and that's huge. And that, even in their day, they're talking about no faith in the absolute, probably talking about the rise of secularism and sort of the new atheism that was really appearing around the corner, where they said there's no right or wrong. You don't, at the time, you don't need to get married. You don't have to be married to have kids.
Yeah.
At the time, in the 90s, this was sort of even before that, the 60s, probably when the band was coming of age, 60s, 70s. I don't know how old these guys are, actually. But they're talking about, like, oh, engaging in intercourse before marriage, no big deal. Who cares? And that's, like, a clear, like, thing. Like, the Bible's pretty clear on that one. And so things like that. And he says in there, I've got convictions, I've got no concessions. And that's really popular right now. People want you to concede. Like, oh, you concede some, I'll concede some, and he's saying, no, I've got no concessions. Yeah. I've got convictions that I cannot compromise in, ever. And I think that there's a book I'm listening to right now that's written about the Chinese Revolution in part, but mainly about the Czechoslovakian communism in Czechoslovakia, and it's called Live Not by Lies. And that's, I can't live by lies. I cannot make my life more comfortable and lie. I can't agree with you when you want me to and make some concessions. Well, you can admit this. No, I can't. That's a lie.
Yeah.
With no convictions leading the way, with those who
thought it was chorus again.
Say as for me and mine, I got strong
Yeah.
convictions about the way that I live.
And it's a true chorus. Because they actually have a chorus. You hear it? With the repeating?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Strong convictions that are worth living by. Strong convictions till the day I die. Pressure
This
makes
is a good bridge.
It's a ballad, yeah.
Yeah.
measure of the saints refining. Don't ever wanna stray. I really wanna stay. Steadfast and immovable in Him.
We're gonna go back to the chorus? Yeah.
I've got strong convictions.
Let's look at that. Let's talk about that last part. Ready? Hear all the words in that one. So he says,
Pressure makes a perfect diamond.
measure of the saints refining. Don't ever want to stray. I really want to say, stay steadfast and immovable in Him. I think that's something I need to hear because I feel the tension and the pressure, and I don't want to have pressure. And the Bible says that when your faith is tested, that's the testing of faith. In James, he talks about that. That when you're under pressure, that tests what you really believe, and it does. So when you're under the gun and it's going to cost to say what you believe, that's when you know what you really believe. The people who just go with the flow or go with the crowd, those folks, you have no idea what they believe
Yeah.
because they're going to say everything. They're gonna, oh yeah, whatever the crowd says, I'm going to go with that. And then when the crowd moves, they'll move with the needle. And this is like social media 101. You see people the second everybody starts posting some picture, they change their profile picture. They all do it. Then they change the profile picture to the new thing.
I've got no concessions that I'm willing to give. Strong convictions that are worth living by. Strong convictions till the day I die.
This is catchy.
Now, I do want to say that I am not a Petra expert. This is it, friends. This is all I know of Petra, is this one album. This was a Christmas present. My mom got it for me. I love this album. I love so much of what they did here. The Sleeping Giant gets a wake-up call, that song, which is actually Wake Up Call. And so much of it was just good. I love this song because it just called people forward to have convictions, to live for something. Not to spend my whole life searching, but to actually have convictions while I'm searching.
This band has not well, it's crazy this band has like flown under my radar all this time because I guess I thought they would have kind of basic lyrics just because they seem so catchy and like
Yes.
but looking into there's some serious thought put into these and they're not giving up bland messages like
No, and I know there's people like, obviously I listen to the pop stuff then too, right? I listen to Newsboys. And they had more poppy stuff, more artistic lyrics, more fun lyrics. Obviously, DC Talk,
yeah
had more fun lyrics. They were serious. They had a good message, but they were lyrics more about, they focused on more of like sin and sort of like dealing with your own sin and some essence of grace and God's love and God's mercy. And Petra came along with this sort of like, we're going to focus on the strength. We're going to focus on the strength of the gospel and how God gives us that strength to move forward. It was very manly and it was for men and it was kind of tough. And so I like that. It appealed to me.
That's all I have for you guys today. I really hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully I'll be able to get back into my regular schedule with my regular background in the next week or so. At any rate though, thanks so much for watching and see you guys later.